Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
In episode 65, Nanette Murphy shares with us life transitions for a woman divorcing after decades of marriage.
No, I want to meet them when they're in that thought of, I think this is where my marriage is heading. I want to walk them through it, walk beside them, and then I want to help them find their purpose. I mean, healing is such a big journey, and I am actually just about to certify and be able to facilitate these meetings probably in the fall. And it's called Rebuilding After Your Relationship Ends, and it's a 10-week program. And I went through it myself, and it is so incredible because it's funny. There's 19 blocks, and I said to my instructor, I did all of these 19 blocks, but I didn't have anyone guiding me.
The Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to the Healing Through Love podcast. My name is Sharlene Lynch. I'm your host from charlenelynch.com. Healing Through Love is here to help victims and survivors of family and domestic violence find their way back to living a more fulfilling and meaningful life. We interview experts and survivors wherever they are to share their story, to offer advice to those who've experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. As well as Healing Through Love podcast, we hold annual Pamper Days here in Adelaide, South Australia, for survivors of domestic and family violence, where local businesses come together and pay it forward to provide their services and resources for a day of indulgence. Think day spa on steroids. And we're so excited that Healing Through Love has now gone global, and we'll be offering these services in communities near you. So reach out to us and we'll put you in contact with those who are having these beautiful experiences. We look forward to connecting with organisations who share similar values. And if you'd like to be on the podcast, please reach out to hello@htlaustralia.org. Our details are in the show notes and also in the show description. Every week we interview amazing people, and this week is no different. We are interviewing Nanette Murphy. Nanette was married for nearly 25 years when she divorced. And she became the mother of 3 children and ran the household and assisted her husband in the building business. Since 2020, Nanette became a divorce life coach. I need to know everything about that. Adjustments were made. She had challenges, and she's written a book through this entire process. And I'm looking forward to diving in deep and talk about that as well. She runs programs and courses. She's got so many assets on her website, and we'll dive in deep to explore those as well. Hello, Nanette.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being so brave, because as we said before we pressed record, for some people, this is a challenging conversation to have. There's, for some people, a level of embarrassment. There's some challenges from the family. And what will people think? There's so many layers. And even if we're looking from a religious perspective as well. So there's so many different layers to this. So look, can you, if you're open to, tell us a little bit about your journey?
Oh, absolutely. One thing I've learned is sharing your story is so important in order to help other people. And then they can feel a little more comfortable and not so much alone. But my journey started, I was married for, like I said, nearly 25 years, had 3 children. Life was grand until it wasn't. And in 2010, I kind of refer to it as the year my world shattered. Infidelity and learning that I was really married to a narcissist, and the infidelity was probably the most overwhelming part of it all. But amazingly enough, I mean, it's been 13 years, hard to believe, and it's been a long journey. But I want to share with women that when you're determined and you have support, you can survive these things. And then in 2020, that's, when we all know how our world was, I just decided to dive in and start taking classes, and lo and behold, a purpose grew out of that. And now I'm, 3 years of learning and coaching women and talking to women. I'm learning there is such a great need to help women prepare for divorce, especially if they're in abusive relationships, narcissistic relationships. There's a lot of manipulation. And that's really why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to help them get ready to get through the process, but then get through it and heal and thrive.
I love it. So can we have a conversation around the process? So what do we do to prepare for divorce? Like how do we do that?
Sure. So interestingly enough, on average, a woman contemplates divorce for 2 years. So I'm really trying to encourage women. I am not an advocate of divorce, but if that's the path that your marriage is going to take, the preparation is, our society tells everyone, well, immediately you need to hire a lawyer. And I've learned that that's really not the case. And I wish I would have had a divorce coach had I even known such a person existed. It is still pretty new in the world, but their finances need to be taken into consideration. They need to know many women don't have their own bank account. They don't have their own credit cards. They're not even sure what the investments are about. There's a lot that they don't know about. So in those 2 years, or in that time that they're preparing, they need financial advisors. They need to speak with people who can help them set themselves up for a productive future. And you can do all this even before you hire the lawyer. And I'm not saying that you don't need one. You likely will need one. But you can actually save money with a divorce coach, because you can prepare yourself and get all of your information in order before you even sit down with your attorney, so that when you go to the attorney, you've got a good portion of your information already there for them. You've thought about what you need and want in the future, and you've spoken to the right people about it. And there's always hiccups. I mean, this is not a fix, like let's just get this done and it's behind you. But it's mostly the support that you can get, advice. Let your emotions come out with your coach, and not with your lawyer who's charging you hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour. And I always say I don't even want to think about how much money I wasted on my attorney fees, just being emotional. And it's really, it's not necessary to do that with your attorney.
There's some gems in there.
Yeah.
So people come to you when they've made, so in those 2 years, they would be coming to you to get themselves ready to go before they seek a lawyer. So are you connected to any lawyers? Do you recommend lawyers? How does that work?
I'm actually working on that. I've actually spoken to a handful of lawyers. We're getting there, that actually they advocate their clients hiring a divorce coach, because they say, the lawyers will say to their clients, you need a coach, because they can help you with the emotional side. And not only that, a coach can help you kind of sort through some issues that you might not know what you want, because when you're going through a divorce, there's so much that you can't even think about. There's so much, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm.
So it's nice to have someone, when your mind is cluttered, it's hard to think straight and hard to see things that you really need to focus on, and other things that, you can put aside for a minute. And yeah, that's what you can do when you prepare for divorce, because again, on average, 2 years, you can do a lot of preparation, and maybe you won't follow through with it. But if you do, then you're kind of on that road to seeing a little more clearer.
That's fascinating. So,
Yeah.
so obviously in this journey, there's lots of different aspects. So they need self-care, they need to have different practices so that they can bring their level of awareness, and almost even a little bit of self-coaching, those sorts of things. So are these things that you take people through, or these are the tools that you have on the website?
Both. I'm a huge advocate of self-care. Honestly, that is kind of the number one thing I like to that I like to start with, is I want to always make sure that they are doing something for themselves. So on my website, I have an ebook, and it's a self-care book, and it's called Start With You and Then Work on Everything Else. Because self-care, it's not like, okay, I'm just going to take care of myself today, and then I'm going to do this tomorrow. And this is something that they have to start each day with, end each night with, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of it throughout the day, because there's so much that can derail a woman when they're going through this. And being able to know that, learning how to refocus, learning how to, sometimes having to categorize your emotions, because sometimes you're really frustrated, but you can't be emotional at the moment. So, I say to women, number one, I suggest a mantra, and whatever that mantra might look like for you or be for you, because when your mind goes to the darkness, to really bad thoughts, like as far, whatever that is, not, I don't mean harmful thoughts, but just fearful thoughts, and being able to just refocus. For me, I would say the Hail Mary. Don't know why. It just was what I started doing one day when I needed to stop thinking about the bad times and try to refocus my thoughts. So a mantra, that just something to repeat over and over until those dark thoughts clear, and you can start fresh. And that's just one of the things that I try to help women with.
There's so many juicy things in what you just said. So when you say mantra, that is like a pattern interrupt to stop the thought process so they can sort of lean into more of a higher frequency. So not like, we're not talking about an affirmation. We're not talking about reprogramming. We're talking about pattern interrupt.
Yeah, let's start thinking of something else today.
Yes.
Or in the moment.
I love it. I love it. And so when you say refocus, is that a different than reframe?
I don't think so. I think it's just, yeah, I think I'm sorry, let me think about that for a second. Yeah, you want to refocus your thoughts, because like for instance, when I was separated, going through divorce, my ex I'd get random text messages from him that were not always pleasant. And it took me a long time to just put it aside and read it later, when I have a moment, if I need to be frustrated, or take a breath, do some breathing techniques to just kind of let that go, so to speak. And these are all things that they take practice. This isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. Meditation is always a good thing. And I always, I don't like to use the word meditation, because it kind of scares some people, because they say, I can't do that. Like, but you can, like, you really can. And it starts with your breathing. So these are all techniques that we can work on. And again, in my self-care book, I touch down on all kinds of things, all the way down to creating a quiet, mindful place to sit in your home, that you can just relax, and again, reframe, refocus.
Mm. Yes, I have one in the corner. I call it the shrine. And it points out to the garden, and it's got elements in there of all the people in my life that have passed, and it gives me an opportunity to hold the space for them. And yeah, I love it. Sometimes I just sit there and have a cup of tea and just aimlessly stare out the window at the beautiful plants.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just take in the sights and sounds around you, even if it's just close vicinity. It's just really clearing your mind and recharging.
And holding that space for yourself, for your.
Absolutely.
We're so much about out, doing everything for everyone else, whether we're serving as a coach or whether we're being a parent, that we need that time to just, stroke us, because if we don't fill our own bucket, how are we going to be able to fill someone else's? I love it. So then what's next for you? So do you feel that this lane of divorce is where you'll stay, or will you help women move forward and rebuild other relationships? Or is it just this section of their life that you want to help them with?
No, I want to meet them when they're in that thought of, I think this is where my marriage is heading. I want to walk them through it, walk beside them. And then I want to help them find their purpose. I mean, healing is such a big journey. And I am actually just about to certify and be able to facilitate these meetings probably in the fall. And it's called Rebuilding After Your Relationship Ends. And it's a 10-week program. And I went through it myself, and it is so incredible. Because it's funny, there's 19 blocks, and I said to my instructor, I did all of these 19 blocks, but I didn't have anyone guiding me. I was all over the board. So this program I feel is going to be a game changer for people. Not only, maybe they're in the middle of the divorce, maybe they are divorced, maybe they've been divorced for a few years and they're still angry, they're still struggling, they're still trying to let go of that past love relationship. Some people struggle with that. So I have actually got a lot of things on that I want to do moving forward to help women through this.
Yes. When we hold that level of, low frequency hatred, low frequency anger, and then we live in that space of blame and excuses and all of those low frequencies, those victim mentalities that living below the line, it makes it almost impossible for us to stay above the line for any length of time. We get there for a little bit and then we just come straight back down. But understanding that, too, that we played a part in everything. Just like, it's everyone else's. Like, I think that ownership of that we played a part in the process, that really helped me move forward and come from a place of love. I love it. So this is beautiful, Nanette. I love it. So can you please, if that's okay, go through a little bit about your program that you offer and also the other assets that we'll find on your website?
Okay, well, so I've got 3 stages, and these are all new things that I will be launching on my website and outlining everything. If you're in the preparation stage, then we need to discuss your attorneys, your financial advisors. And I have resources that I can direct women to, because there are certified divorce financial advisors. So I have resources for them to go to for that. I'm working on building resources for the legal side of it, because I want attorneys who do believe in coaching as well, so that we can, help them through this together. So that's the preparation stage. And then if you come to me and you're in the middle of a divorce and you're trying to get back on track, or just need that emotional support, we can do that too. I mean, I will be able to pick up wherever they are at. And then again, if they're already divorced, or it's about to be final, and then they want to know what's next. Like, now what? And my specific lane is women divorcing later in life. They're over 40. They're they're rattled because they thought, they knew that where their life was going, and now it's derailed and they have to get everything back on track. So finding their purpose is really important in order for them to, it's such a journey. And in this program of rebuilding, that is all covered. It goes from denial all the way up to freedom, because there's a lot of denial when you're getting divorced. You can't believe it's happening. But I want to get them to that point where they can feel like they're at that top of the mountain and looking down going, it was a tough journey. We got some bumps and scrapes and bruises up that mountain, but you can have such a full life. I want to say to women, you're not starting over. It's just a new beginning. It's just a new path that we're going to take, and you get to create it. You get to actually create that. But first they have to understand their self-worth, and then their self-care, and get through it all. Like, there's no skipping a step. There's really not. And if you try to skip a step, you're just gonna have to go backwards and then and pick it up later, because you have to address all the emotions that you're feeling.
So in your website, we've got a program, Prepare to Divorce, and we've also got journaling and self-care, and also a purpose piece as well. So all of that information is available on the website. Can you tell us a little bit more? How long is the course that you run, and is it one-on-one or is it done in a group?
Well, so that's the other thing. The funny thing about divorce coaching is it's not, one size fits all. So that's why I created the program, because if a woman is thinking about it and wanting to prepare, but just afraid to make that first move, this it's full of 2.5 hours basically of coaching on how to prepare, who to hire, what order to hire them in, and why. There's budgeting and expensing, because that's another thing that they have to know, they have to learn, because there's a good chance that they never had to do that in their marriage. There's been, again, about self-care, and touching down on the children, because if you're likely over 40, 45, you don't have small babies at home, but you still have children to and their emotions. My kids were older, but it still took a toll on them. Then there is one-on-one coaching, where we can sit down and just start wherever they're at in the journey. And there's a package program that I'm going to be offering soon, and more of a membership, where it's 3 months of coaching, blogs, group coaching in that realm. So I'm really trying to gather everything together and have it so that there's a little bit for everybody, because not everyone wants 6 months of one-to-one coaching, so I really need to make sure that everybody's got something that we can make it work for them.
Yeah, there's something to be said for proximity. I know that myself, with every separation that I've gone through, that it has been the kindred sisterhood of other friends, whether they're married or single, that for me has made the cushioned the blow, if it will. So I can see how if you don't have that connection with people around you, or perhaps maybe they're siding with him, who knows what the dynamics are in your environment, that having that sisterhood of other women to help you just hold the space for healing, really, and just keep telling you that you're okay. I can see how that would be an amazing proximity to hold whilst you're going through your healing journey. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And then also, I have a lot of women say, they want to know, well, what was it like for you at this point? And what was it like for you? And I think just letting them know and having them know I've been on this journey, and it was painful. But if they listen, really, truly listen, and truly want to get through it and heal, it can be just really wonderful at the beginning, at the end of it, because it's no fun. It's just no fun. And I want them to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Well, I've got some light at the end of the tunnel, 56 and just married
That's
for the
good for
very
you.
first time. And so I have
Congratulations.
been through my share of separations, which in Australia, if you're living with someone for longer than a couple of years, it's deemed legally just like a marriage. So you've still got all the financial detanglement and everything
Right.
to do. So I don't know if the rules are differently for you in the US. If you're living with someone for 2 years, is it considered
Yeah.
legal purposes the same?
Yeah, it is. And I have some clients in Canada as well. And it's very similar that, you can say you're not married, but if you're living together, it's considered a relationship, and bound by finances and houses and all of that. So yeah, it's not any different. And even this rebuilding program that I'm going to be able to facilitate meetings for, it's not just marriage relationships that end that are hurtful. And like you said, you weren't married, but you're still in a long-term relationship. That the marriage is a piece of paper. It's whatever's between the two of you. That's the connection. And when that breaks, it hurts. It really hurts. So yeah, it's very similar. And even this program, widows and widowers have gone through it, because we go through the same anger, grief, feeling of abandonment. They're all very similar and very tightly connected.
Yeah, it's grief. It's the ending of something. And yes, and the beginning of something else. So whether it's the beginning of just you standing in your own power and authority, or you vibrating at a higher frequency so that you attract the love of your life, all of these things. So I love it. I love it. This is great, Nanette. So what's the name of the book and where can people get the book?
The book that I wrote, the very first one I wrote, Shattered Dreams and New Beginnings. And it is my journey of heartbreak, healing, and ultimately growth. And I wrote it just to inspire others that, we all go through some really tough times, but you can really get through it and be even a better version of yourself on the other side. And that is on my website under resources. Everything that I offer, I've got guides, guides on being prepared. I've got the program and a journal that I've created, and all created by way of what I wished I would have had at my fingertips. I always say when my marriage was crumbling, I Googled, how do I save my divorce? And then it's seriously, yes, and books and anything I could get. But then when I went to divorce, didn't Google how to divorce. I bet you any money I would have found divorce coaching in there. But I was just, I have to hire an attorney. And because that's what we're programmed to do.
And
I say
that's too. It's more
divorce
so.
is it's not just a legal battle, it's an emotional journey. And there's so much more to it than just going to hire a lawyer. And whether they're a good lawyer or not, you need more than that.
Yep, so true, so true. I love it. So I noticed that because I spent some time in the States, that they're very quick to litigate. We're a little slower in Australia. We'll sort of have a beer and have a conversation first. Then we'll think about a lawyer. But yeah, yes, and we're becoming a little bit more that way. So it's interesting. So your clients are from all around the world, Nanette, is that correct?
I have spoken to people from all over the place. It's really quite amazing. And yet so sad because I've got I've got a private group online, but I'm kind of moving away from that. But anytime I would welcome them into the group, I would say, I'm sorry that you're here, but I'm really happy that you found us because like I said, I wished I would have had half of the support that I've come to realize in the last few years.
Yeah, and the inner work too that's required to stand above the line so that you can live at that different frequency. I love it.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
So we're going to have in the show notes and also in the show description, we'll have all of the links, especially to the book, to the website, and then also all of the other details that you need for the journaling, for the self-care, for the book, for the program. They're all there in the website. I love it. So just in closing today, what's some advice that you'd like to share with our listeners?
What advice with the listeners? My advice is don't be afraid to reach out for help. Accepting where you're at is the first biggest step, and then reach out and ask for help, because this is really a journey that you shouldn't go on alone, especially if you're being abused or if there's a narcissistic relationship. It's tough because you can be manipulated and you can be led astray or given false information. So having someone to talk to that is not in the middle of the marriage with them, that they're on the outside looking in, you can get a different perspective on things. And it is just, again, I don't say that it's going to be an easy ride, but when you've got somebody in your corner for emotional, spiritual guidance, it's really, it's game-changing.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nanette. Thank you so much for being our guest today. And listeners, if you want to pay it forward and make a difference in this space, and you're looking to get involved in a Pamper Day near you, whether it be as hands-on and assisting those who are coming, or as an organizer, please reach out to Healing Through Love. As we say, we've gone global this year, and we have events in your vicinity. We are looking forward to holding that space for you. This is a goodbye today from Healing From Love from Nanette and Sharlene.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.